you the news. Printed the info, we gave you the clues. Owners' profits were always sky high. Changing market now threatens our lives. Post-literation, critical reading, dumbed down nation, signs have been breeding. TV sucking ideas from our head. Public discourse just about dead. We'll ride the dinosaur. Yeah, ride the dinosaur. Our readers are in the
Hey everybody, I'm Eugene Driscoll. Welcome to Navel Gazing, the Valley Indie Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Ansonia Drive-In Horror, or something like that. I'll get the title right in a couple of seconds, but joining me on this episode from Ansonia is Mr. John Marini. Welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Marini.
Thanks for having us, Eugene.
And then joining us from Derby, Mr. Connecticut Cult Classics himself, and he's associated with the CT Horror Fest and the Horror News Network and all kinds of stuff. Some kind of boy band from the 90s that he was a drummer or something like that. Scary Larry Dwyer.
Hey, thanks for having me, Eugene.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for doing this, guys. Before we begin, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and a lot going on locally. So I want to read an important announcement, and it's important because it's a way neighbors can help neighbors. COVID-19 has changed life as we know it, and the Valley needs your help, Scary Larry Dwyer. Now more than ever, the region's health and human service providers face unprecedented challenges in meeting the needs of those affected by the pandemic. Some organizations are even at the risk of closing their doors. You can make a difference right here in our community by joining with others in one of three ways. Give directly to Valley nonprofits, participate in the Valley United Way Annual Fund, or support the Valley Community COVID-19 Response and Recovery Fund. You can do so by visiting valleyfoundation.org. All right. So there's been these drive-in events happening pretty much on a weekly basis now for a couple of weeks in Ansonia at Warsaw Park. John, they're all. I thought, all right, it's a good idea. Okay, you got Ghostbusters. All right, that'll sell out. Then I saw the Beatles. I'm a Rolling Stones guy. I don't know, like the Beatles. I saw Creature of the Black Lagoon. I'm like, they're gonna have to pay people to attend to see the Creature from the Black Lagoon. But how wrong was I? Because this is really caught on. They're all selling out. So how's it going, Mr. Marini?
It's going wonderful. And thank you, Eugene, and thanks to the Valley Sentinel for supporting drive-in movies and good movies in general in the Valley area. Valley Sentinel is, of course, a sponsor of the drive-in, and you've been a sponsor of Larry Dwyer's Cult Classic Nights and also Sci-Fi at the Strand, our Godzilla Nights. So it's good that someone in the Valley recognizes good cinema. And all good family movies, from A to Z.
Well, I'm more into trash cinema. Let's be honest. Me and Larry are more trash cinema guys, but I'm happy to do so. You guys have become. I tweeted this yesterday. Thank you both for not retweeting it. I really appreciate that. But I said because of Scary Larry and Ansonia, Ansonia Seymour has become the coolest place in Connecticut to watch
our goal.
Movies.
That's the goal here.
Take that, snobs. What do you have to say to that, Greenwich?
Yeah.
What does Greenwich have? Greenwich isn't showing the gate, right?
No, definitely
Greenwich
not.
Doesn't have Creature from the Black Lagoon on a drive-in screen. I'm not really sure why you would go to Greenwich. I mean, if you're leaving New York, if you're leaving New Jersey, I think if you're looking at Connecticut, you want to look at the Valley.
Yeah.
You want to look at Ansonia, Derby, Seymour. That's I think where it's going to happen.
Are you guys getting a lot of Yaleys?
Unless you're looking for a yacht or a Porsche, then you can stop off in Greenwich and visit the dealerships.
What about the Yale hipsters? Are you getting all the cool people from New Haven coming in from Yale University to see Texas Chainsaw 2 or anything like that, Larry?
No, most of those folks aren't really coming through.
Look at Larry carefully choosing his word. Larry, this is contained, Larry, because we're in a mainstream. This isn't Pint of Comics.
This is not Pint O Scary Larry or whatever that is. But most of those guys, your Yale hipster types, are looking for a 35 millimeter film fest and turn their nose up at anything but. So no, we don't usually get those guys.
I just noticed I just look like a floating blob here. I might have to adjust my lighting at some point. But anyway,
I like it. I like it. You look like a lava lamp. I kind of like it.
My face is glowing. By the way, Larry, thanks for you do Pint of Comics. That's a Connecticut-based podcast, and like Larry, they're doing this series right now. They upload stuff all the time. Check them out on Facebook. But they have this Scary Larry thing where Larry comes in there and they talk about horror movies all the time. And right now they're going through the entire catalog of Friday the 13th movies, which it seems like punishment to me. That's hellish. But I just want to play a clip last night. And John, I mean, you don't have to formally take this on as a case of slander, but I am looking for a little, maybe some pro bono legal advice here. Here is the Pint of Comics guys and Scary Larry Dwyer talking about me, Eugene Driscoll.
Always trap the Tommy Jarvis radio first, then the Fuse House for the phone. Eugene has been maybe drinking. I don't know.
I think that's probably a. That's true. My beer's money. That's probably a reference to the game, which he plays. Oh. I think nonstop. I don't know if his family ever sees him.
I think Eugene is like Tron. He's in the game.
yeah. Because every time he says something, he's playing that game.
Yeah, so I play Friday.
Where's the slander, though? Defense to slander is
I defended the whole beer thing. I did.
First of all, the beer was referenced to something you had said earlier in that podcast. First of all, I wasn't drinking. Second of all, my child was here with me. I was like, oh, look, Daddy knows these guys. They're talking about Friday the 13th. Oh, look, let me talk about the game I play a lot. And then to have his hopes crushed, like just, he needed another 10 years he can find out. How I don't live up to his expectations. But thanks for spreading that last night, Scary Liar. So John, Scary Larry. I'm sorry, John. I have no case here. I mean, look, I get threatened with suits.
If it's true, it's not slander. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, I guess so. All right, so let's talk about what. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you, counselor. What'd you say?
Oh, no, I was saying, the truth is an ultimate defense for slander. But I think we're doing some great things with these movies. I think we have, I think they're all family friendly. I mean, to me, Basket Case, that's not a family movie.
That depends on the family.
I guess.
Dwayne and Belial are clearly family. So
yeah,
there's some family values there.
Yeah.
But you have coming up, let me see if I can share the screen and share the sound. This is from the Connecticut Cult Classics website. You guys are seeing that, right?
Yep.
Look at that. So let's talk about this first one. I mean, they're both sold out, which is amazing to me. I mean, they sold out in like minutes, I believe, right, Larry? I mean,
well, let me provide some hope right from the beginning, though. We're likely going to make available, at least for one of the shows, some extra tickets. And I think it's super limited because the shows are sold out. The way the shows have been going, we do have some extra car capacity. And again, it's all about safety, right? So the spacing with the cars, the way the event's conducted, safety is right at the top of the list. We do think we can fit some extra capacity as we go along. And so I think you want to watch Cult Classics Facebook and the city Facebook for that news. We just opened up 5 additional tickets for our sold out show tomorrow. That's the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom that we're doing. So likely there is some hope. If you're interested in the shows, you may get a chance, but you're going to have to be fast.
And then I should just note, this is going to post Tuesday, so the Indiana Jones will have happened already, but that's good to know. And then, John, just in general, because all these are selling out, the ones the city has done for the past couple of months are all selling out. The ones now the city is combining or partnering with Scary Larry, who lives in Derby, by the way. Those are selling out. So are there plans to continue this? And how much longer can you do it in the current season? Are you going to do it into the fall beyond these October screenings?
Problem is the weather. So we have a large 45-foot inflatable screen, but a little bit of wind, and it goes up like a Macy's Thanksgiving Day float. Balloon. Really? And it's done that a couple times with the setup already. So my guess is by October, we're already, in the, past the safety zone. So I don't think the weather will allow us to do it in November. However, the screen is the city's, and this concept has really been a home run. So we will be bringing it back in the spring. And when COVID does eventually recede, I think it's only going to get bigger as we could fit more cars. We can get people in there on blankets. That's for the future when things clear up. So it's not going to go away. But I think the October dates are about it for this year.
And then in terms of the 40-foot screen, where does one get a 40-foot screen? I'm in the market. And then how much does that cost? Like, how much does one of those run?
Yeah, one has to look on eBay and obscure corners of the internet.
Wait,
but
what?
eventually
Seriously?
I did find a company out in the Midwest that makes these screens and that brings them in from China. And the cost was not bad. It was actually $2,500 for the screen. It took about a month and a half for it to arrive.
That's everything. Thanks, Amazon.
But it's a very high quality setup and cost effective and larger than most inflatable screens are available for rent in the area.
And Larry, have you been to some of the drive-ins yet in Ansonia to check out that screen?
They sell out too quick, man. I can't even get tickets for myself.
John's not putting any aside for anybody. It doesn't matter. They go.
I did. I went to one of the tests when they were testing Ghostbusters to check it out, and it's incredible, man. It's a great looking screen. Not super loud because you got to keep air rolling into that thing to keep it inflated. It's good. It's a good screen, and Warsaw Park is a good, definitely a good little place to have. It's just the right size to be able to keep it, keep everybody separated away from each other, but still have a really good event.
And then, John, before we get into the movies that are screening in October with Scary Larry down there, Texas Chainsaw 1 is a movie. And then there was a sequel that came out in about 1986. Tobe Hooper, after he made Poltergeist, made Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, starring Dennis Hopper and various other people. And I'm just wondering, John, which one do you prefer? I mean, you can speak from your heart for this one.
I remember I had an art teacher in 7th grade who preferred Part 2. And there is the chainsaw fight, right? There's the chainsaw duel. However, the first one is far superior. I don't really see how one could make an objective argument that the second one is better, but it's certainly different, right? It's certainly different on many levels, and it's worth a watch.
Smarter.
It's hard, it's hard to be, how do you really be objective really when looking at movies? They're two different experiences. But the first one is the one, right? Well, it's one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
I mean, I'm sorry to hear that because this is getting awkward because the star of Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, which is better than the first, I'll say it. I don't care if it's an unpopular opinion. I will stand by my principles and say Part 2 is better than Part 1 for a million reasons. But she is coming. Let me see. Look, I'm getting good at sharing the screen. Let's do it. Larry, tell me about this movie. It's called, what's it called? I don't even know. I can't see it.
It's called 10 Minutes to Midnight. It was filmed written by the brothers Eric Bloomquist and Carson Bloomquist, who have written other films like Long Lost, and they did a show called Cobblestone Corner where they won some Emmys. They're local. They're like up Willimantic area, but they're Connecticut guys, and they filmed this movie last year in Connecticut, up in Willimantic at radio station up there. And it stars Caroline Williams from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Yes.
Who is Stretch in that movie. And also,
iconic performance, Larry.
Iconic performance. And she's been in a number of other movies. She's been in Hatchet, and she's been in The Legend of Billie Jean, another classic. And it also stars Nicole Kang from Batwoman, Alice Kremlenberg. I can never get that last name right, but she's from Orange is the New Black, which is a popular show. And then the late Nicholas Tucci, who was in You're Next and The Ranger, and Bloomquist's other movie, Long Lost. He actually passed away not long after the filming. I don't think anybody even knew he was sick. He had cancer, but if you ever get a chance to see Long Lost, I think it's streaming for free now on Amazon Prime. This guy was a phenomenal actor. I can't wait to see what he does in this movie. Also, there's a guy named Larry Dwyer who has a scene in this movie.
Oh, that's okay. Yet another scheme you should be scheming, Larry Dwyer.
Let me walk it back and say I filmed a scene. Whether it's going to be in the actual film, I don't know.
And this is,
I haven't seen it.
This is screening October 10th. Let's go back to it, but first let's share or try to screen the the
trailer.
The trailer. That's what I'm trying. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Here it is. I'm here for. I got to think a little bit. So if I press this and then I go over here and then here we go.
Sexy phone call. I can practically guarantee you a suspended sentence.
Excuse me.
I'm talking to my client. Do you mind?
Well, I have something more for you to talk about. We found some blood on your client's clothing. We're going to rebook a murder one.
What?
See you at the arraignment.
I'm going to have to use the dump button.
Dirty! He's lying. There was no blood on my clothes, and he knows it. You did.
This is intense, Larry.
He's lying. He's lying. He's lying.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I mean, Caroline Williams isn't in that clip.
Well, it's because that's
I made myself laugh so much. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was waiting all morning to do that.
Yeah, I know. I could tell that you were happy to have that set up.
I should have turned off my camera. The great Jeffrey Lewis.
Jeffrey Lewis.
All right, that was a little joke. That was 10 to Midnight, the legendary Charles Bronson film from about the same time as The Gate. All right, so now here, let's really do it. Here, I'll do it. Share this. Go over here. You're going to see the same thing for a second, but I promise it's over here somewhere.
Man, you had that set up. Look at you.
But then I realized later, I'm like, oh, it's on Larry's page. Why did I go through all this?
Something is happening at WLST Radio. What would you do if you found yourself changing? You can't trust anyone, not even yourself. Tune in with Ernie, Aaron, Robert, Sienna, and Amy Marlowe to see who makes it through the night. The graveyard shift begins at 10 minutes to midnight. There's never been a night like this one.
Yeah, so there we go. So, Larry, how did you get involved in this movie from the get-go? What was your scene like? If it makes it in, did you have to go toe to toe with Carolyn Williams, a legendary actress from the best movie ever made, Texas Chainsaw 2?
I had a scene with her. I don't think I can say more. But I have a scene where
who's watching this, Larry? Come on, those guys.
Listen, I haven't even seen it. I don't know if the scene's actually in the movie. I have no idea. But was it intimidating? What was it like? Describe to me the feelings you had, Larry, right before they said action. What was going through your head? It was kind. I'd already been there for about 13 hours, I think. So
you were drunk.
I was just like, oh my God, let's do this. Because I don't know if you've ever been on a movie set, but it's a lot of waiting around. So by that time I was just ready to go, and they told me what to do, and I did it, and that was it. But it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to be in a scene with her, even if it doesn't make it into the movie. That's now my third scene with somebody who is sort of horror royalty in a film, and I'm pretty psyched about it. So hopefully it makes it in. You asked earlier how I got into this. I screened the Bloomquist Brothers short film. She Came from the Woods before the Halloween 1 and 2 double feature about 2 years ago. They had just reached out to me and were like, hey, we have a short. Would you like to screen it? And I was like, yeah, I'll screen it before Halloween. Send it over. And that's kind of just how I met them. And when they were filming this, they reached out and asked if I wanted to come up and be an extra in a scene. And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll do that.
That's awesome. And now Caroline Williams, she's going to be in person in Ansonia. Did I read that correct?
She is. She's coming out. I think she might actually be here because she has to quarantine for a couple weeks.
Oh, right. Wow.
And then she's doing. Yeah, because she's from somewhere, California, Texas, or something. It's
got to be Texas.
So she might be here now, quarantining, and then she is going like on tour with these guys because this is screening like all over the place. They have a lot of screenings coming up for this, and she's going to be at most of them. And luckily enough, we're lucky to have her in Ansonia. She'll be taking socially distanced pictures with people, and I think she's going to pre-sign some 10 Minutes to Midnight posters, and maybe a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 thing for you.
I was going to say, can I get an interview, Larry, or what? Can you hook me and Marini up here? John wants to interview her too, I'm sure.
Well, I think John's going to be there, so he might have a chance.
Am I good if I come get a socially distant photograph with her? Am I going to have like the extra? Are you guys going to keep me even farther away? What's the deal there?
I think we would keep you farther away anyway. Like
I think we keep you farthest away.
It's going to be a panoramic shot, like with the iPhone.
For you, but it's on the opposite side of the screen.
I'll be at the high school there.
Outside the gate. It's just right outside you'll have to be up against the chain link fence.
I'll be building the access road.
Specific. They said we could do the movie night, but you really have to be about 50, at least 50 feet away from Carolyn.
Taking my sponsorship money back. But the other thing I wanted to talk about then coming up, let's see if I could do this again. The only thing about sharing, I should have taken lessons from John on this. When you share the screen, the things I want to share are getting, if I go like this, that'll do it. They're getting stuck behind the stuff here.
Oh, yeah.
The gate.
Zoom's a pain.
The gate. Do we have to play the trailer? Let's play a couple of seconds from the trailer for the gate. Sort of famous 80s film.
There is a passageway to the most evil place you can imagine. A gate behind which the demons wait to take back what was once theirs. And now, someone has opened the gate.
There's this weird tearing sound. There is the decomposed corpse of her dead father. Oh no.
I'm sorry, this is bringing back too many memories of the 80s for me. I might have to shut it off. It's a little too intense for me, Larry.
It's an intense film. It really is.
Now, how did you decide I remember The Gate when it came out. Whatever I was, 12 years old or so, 13, right in that range. And I thought I'm too cool because it was like a PG-13-ish type horror, when you grow up watching. I just seen Texas Chainsaw 2. So I never gave it a fair shot, but it's interesting to go back and read about it where this is sort of a family-friendly horror movie. It's become a way, I guess, for people to introduce their kids to monster movies and scary movies, and the reviews of it's sort of got mixed reviews when it came out, but now it's very much appreciated, and even has, like I read on Wikipedia, they're saying like it has good solid family values that are sort of funneled through the plot, according to a couple of critics. So how did you guys mind meld to come up with this title?
This, I don't want to say, well, John and I went back and forth with a number of different films. Obviously, 10 Minutes to Midnight was the one that was solid. That was set. We were going to do that. And then when we found out we had one other, originally we were going to do a couple more, but then the church had some things they had to use the park for. So it just came down to these two nights, which made it incredibly harder on me because I'm terrible at settling on one thing. Like I bounce back and forth. John will tell you, I must have messaged him 100 times with 100 different ideas, coupled with the fact that some of my ideas I couldn't get licensing for. My first idea was Dawn of the Dead. No dice. Then I thought Hellraiser, which might be too much for the church yard anyway, but couldn't get licensing for that. And then we kicked around a few others. And The Gate's always been one that I've kind of wanted to show at the Strand when I do those, but I never did. And it seemed like a good one for people who are horror fans, and then people who are maybe kind of on the fence, not into something like The Evil Dead, which, can be a bit of a shock. It seemed like, a step above Monster Squad in terms of the horror, but below the rest of the horror genre. And it seemed like a good fit.
Like a good Goldilocks pick, not too much and not too watered down.
Yeah, John, was this like a childhood favorite of yours, The Gate, in any way?
Definitely was. Definitely a favorite of mine. And I think a good cautionary tale about playing heavy metal vinyl backwards.
That I don't, like we live in such a conspiracy-minded country now. You never hear any of the good heavy metal conspiracy stuff. Like I miss that. I miss those days. And when this is over, I'm going to play Stairway to Heaven backwards.
Just don't play Suicide Solution backwards by Ozzy.
I remember all that. Well, that was like a big. I miss those days when that was like our biggest. Well, it wasn't our biggest concern, but as growing up as a kid, it was.
As teenagers, it was.
Right. What are they going to do to poor Ozzy Osbourne? Look at him now. It's like, wow. Right. One thing I wanted to touch upon briefly, I had done like a Q&A with John as these drive-ins were getting started. It took me like 6 weeks to post it because I stink. And then John went and did an interview with every other media outlet in the state. But that's all right. I'm used to it. I deal with Kurt Miller. I understand how tough it is to be honorable. But one thing that was great about that, I'm kidding, by the way. John looks like he's ready. Look at John. He looks like he's ready to strangle me there. Is John even there? John,
my connection cut out.
Oh, wait, there. Okay. I thought.
Yeah, he just looked real angry.
I know, John looked like really.
My connection cut out.
I was sitting there. My heart dropped. I was like, uh-oh. Oh, wait, but that reminds me, though. John, what's up with the Goonies, man? What do you have against the Goonies? I have sources.
What was the question? The Goonies? The Goonies is okay.
The Goonies is okay. Larry, I don't want to, I've got some anonymous sources out there who say that John is somehow against screening the Goonies and all this, which is,
No, we're not against the Goonies. The licensing is difficult to get, Eugene. It's very difficult.
But the guy from Frozen did it. Olaf played it on his little internet show, whatever. He had the whole reunion.
It's a good movie.
Well, yeah, he's a celebrity though, so he can get that. I know John is also a celebrity, but Olaf has a little more pull.
Has a lot of pull, yeah.
How about one thing? The Gate, Steven Dorff. I mean, talk about, he just had the comeback of comebacks in True Detective. I don't know if you guys check that out.
No, I haven't seen him since Blade, I don't think.
I love the Blade movies. Those hold up. They get kind of beat up a little. But anyway, what I was starting to say was I did a Q&A with Ansonia Alderman. I sent everybody on the board
favorite movies.
A favorite movie. And I was Larry, let's go over this right now. I mean, Larry, I apologize. I know you read the Valley Indie religiously. So let's just look at some of the movies. I'm going to try to share my screen again. Mm-hmm. Here it goes like that. There's that kid again. Here it is. How do you like that graphic, by the way?
That's top notch.
Canva.com. I learned about it at Pointer. I got sent to a journalism institute to learn to do that. But all right, so there's the Q&A. Look at this. Mayor Cassetti's favorite movie, David Cassetti, Ansonia Mayor, Police Academy, Airplane 1 and 2.
Listen, 2 is a highly underrated film.
Then this right here, Josh Stewart, he's the president of the Board of Aldermen, Midnight Run. Which is definitely right. Yeah. Not a movie. Not a movie you hear a lot. I had that poster in my room when I was a kid.
And I like the mention of Yaphet Kotto, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think we have a burdening movie critic here. And then he goes for the few dollars more. He wants a Dollars trilogy at one of the drive-ins. Trilogy. So you have you got Airplane 1 and 2, comedy classics, like movies they're doing retrospectives on. You got Midnight Run, which is, one of the most respected comedies of all time, but albeit underrated. Then we get the 6th Ward Alderman Tony Mamone. Gone in 60 Seconds. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah. I can't back a Nick Cage movie. Do it.
Not even Mandy? You're not on the Mandy train?
Actually, I did really enjoy Mandy, and I really enjoyed what was the other one he did that year?
Mom and Dad? Lynch movie? What about the David Lynch movie?
With Nicolas Cage? Which one did
Wild at Heart?
Oh yeah. I think it starts and stops with Raising Arizona for me. And then Mamone's other one is Gladiator, Chicago River's The Matrix, Sheila O'Malley, A Clockwork Orange.
Good for her.
Right? Yeah. These are some great choices. And then Joseph Cassetti, third ward alderman, he picks the Terminator, and then like gives a little movie has all the elements of good versus evil. The Terminator is doomed to lose Sarah to find. I love that he gives a little synopsis of the meaning of the movie. So I was just really impressed. First of all, I didn't think, oh, Sheila O'Malley, Fargo.
Fargo is a close set. I like this Sheila O'Malley.
Right? So
that's a heck of an economic development director you got there, John.
And grant writer. So, and the Fargo TV series returns September 15th, by the way. So,
Which I hear is awesome. I've never seen it, but I heard it's awesome.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I seek out the first couple of seasons if you can. So I guess we should conclude because I've gone slightly over here. But John, you didn't, I don't know if I sent that to you, but I had asked the alderman, and you're a former alderman, you live in Ansonia. What's your favorite movie, Mr. Marini, and why?
Ooh. Well, it's the original Godzilla, which I saw on WPIX, hosted by Morgus the Magnificent when I was about 10 years old. So, that's not only a great movie, but it's the movie that got me into liking movies, right? So that's always going to be number one.
And has your love of Godzilla transferred to your sons, or do they kind of push you away like, whatever, Dad, it's boring, I got to go play GTA?
It's something they're into. It's not as much as I was, but they're definitely into the monster movies in general. And you really have to thank Larry. One of their first exposures to that was his Stephen King double feature. The original one with Creepshow and Christine, and they were sitting front row for that. And that's George's favorite movie, Creepshow, ever since.
Oh wow, no kidding. That Creepshow, that
awesome.
End one with the roaches, I still can't watch that to this day. It's too much. It's too intense for me.
It's tough. It is. That's a tough one.
And then Larry, I think I've asked you this before, but probably not in this context. And it doesn't have to be a horror movie. What's your favorite movie and why?
My favorite movie is 1985, The Breakfast Club. That's always been my favorite movie. And I do, depending on the day, I don't think I'll ever say actually anything different, but my top 5 other than that one pretty much constantly rotates. But for me, when I first saw that, it really affected me. I wanted to be John Bender. That was like my goal in life at that age was to be a cross between John Bender and Elias Koteas's character in Some Kind of Wonderful. Like those were my guys. But The Breakfast Club to me is just a really heartfelt movie, coming to age film about teenagers from different worlds coming together on one day and overcoming their differences, even if it's just for that one day. And it's my favorite movie.
That's an interesting answer. I mean, I very much remember seeing The Breakfast Club probably for the first time when I was in 6th grade, and I grew up in Somers, New York, right? But my economics teacher told me later I was from the ghetto of Somers, New York, which is it's a lake community. It's like hard to. The guy was a jerk, but I remember like thinking like, well, that totally captured the whole vibe of my high school, where you had like really wealthy kids and then kids that weren't quite as wealthy. So that was like emotionally tough to sit through. Oh, by the way, here's my idea for a double feature at a drive-through, and I hope you guys we'll do Sidney Lumet. We'll do Serpico, Prince of the City. 3 hours long, 5 hours of Sidney Lumet taking apart like an institution and the pathos and all that. Or we like do it live, like what was that? Rushmore, where the kid does Serpico. What do you guys think? Will people buy tickets? The generator's
not going to last that long, Eugene.
What'd you say?
The generator will not last that long.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. No.
Yeah.
So it's a no. I can't have anything. All right. So listen, before we go, is there anything else either of you guys want to add before we call it a day?
I definitely want to thank the residents for their support of the drive-in program. Again, the Valley Sentinel for your support. And of course, we just have some great things going on in the Valley.
And Fright Haven, we should do a shout out for
Fright Haven as well. Another great organization that came through to be a part of this. You really have a lot of interesting opportunities here entertainment opportunities, whether it be film, you got those haunted attractions, drive-in movies. There's a lot of excitement right here in Ansonia in the Valley area.
Yeah, it is really good, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, I went to Rock the Valley last year with my two kids. My wife was working, and it was a great time. So Ansonia is really good at putting events together, community events together at that it's not costing people an arm and a leg to go into. And then Larry, you're Mr. I'm sorry,
First Ansonia Comic Convention.
Now, I didn't turn John's sound off. I just want that stated for the record. Did you guys both? Larry, do you still hear him, or did you both cut out?
I cannot hear him.
Oh yeah, John, your sound cut up, but John had said
he's frozen again. Yeah,
the Ansonia Comic Con was launched. I think it was it was last October. I think it was right after.
I think it was
right after CT Horror Fest. Sorry, John, you cut out for a second there, but maybe that's a good time to end this. And I want to thank you guys for coming on again with no notice, and for giving me and the people a diversion from the news today. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
For hundreds of years we've brought you the news. Printed the info, we gave you the clues. Owners' profits were always sky high. Changing market now threatens our lives. Post-literation, critical reading, dumbed down nation, signs have been breeding. TV sucking ideas from our head. Public discourse just about dead. We'll ride the dinosaur. Yeah, ride the dinosaur. Our readers are in the opens each day. Clickbait a prurient way. It's free information here to stay. Not even hookers give it away. Advertising, metastasizing, newsroom shrinking, constant attrition. We'll ride the dinosaur. We'll ride the dinosaur. Dinosaur. Deadlines, bylines, pictures too. An editorial comment for a buck or two. Fire down the block, the murder next door. And now we wonder what it's all for. Social media coming free to you. Funny pages, the mayor's wages, criminal seats, corruption schemes, ink state wretches asking tough questions. We'll ride the dinosaur. Yeah, ride the dinosaur. The presses are running all through the night. We're printing the truth with all of our might. We're platform agnostics, got that interweb too. Buy an ad, see what we can do. We still have subscribers, still have our fans. We're here every day, so give us a chance or we'll make an art stand. Just hold us in your hand, and we'll ride the dinosaur. Yeah, ride the dinosaur.